Fame looks loud, but it feels lonely. Do you ever feel tired of being strong? Why is proving myself never enough?
Titles don't fix everything.
But purpose does.
Let's earn their respect! Not to go for respect!
Here is a long, emotional, dramatic story in English featuring WWE superstars Roman Reigns and Ronda Rousey. The tone is serious, inspirational, emotional, mixed with pain, respect, and redemption, not comedy. Title: When the Ring Goes Silent. The arena was loud, but Roman Reigns couldn't hear any of it. The chants, the lights, the pyro, none of it reached him anymore. As he stood backstage, taping his wrists, his reflection in the mirror looked familiar, yet distant. The tribal chief. The head of the table. A man the world feared. But behind the titles and dominance was exhaustion. Roman had carried WWE on his shoulders for years. Main events. Pressure. Expectations. Legacy. Every match felt like war, and every victory demanded something from his soul. He had learned how to win, but not how to rest. That night, Roman walked past someone who knew that feeling better than anyone else. Ronda Rousey. She was sitting alone on a production crate, hoodie pulled tight, hands clenched. The former UFC champion. The first woman to truly break barriers. To the fans, she was untouchable. To herself, she felt broken. They nodded at each other. No words. Just understanding. Two warriors, one silence. Later that night, Roman retained his championship in a brutal match. His hand was raised. The crowd erupted when you're expected to be unstoppable. When people don't see the pain behind the glare. Roman walked in quietly. "You fought hard," he said. Ronda didn't look up. Hard isn't always enough. Roman sat across from her. For a moment, neither spoke. "You know," Roman said finally, "people think being strong means never breaking." Ronda smirked bitterly. "Yeah? Then why does it feel like I'm breaking every day?" Roman looked down at his hands. "Because we're human. They just don't let us be." The weight of expectations. Over the next few weeks, their paths crossed more often. Training sessions. Late-night travel. Empty arenas after the lights went out. They never talked about fame. They talked about fear. Roman admitted the truth he never shared on camera, that every title defense came with the fear of letting everyone down. That being the tribal chief meant carrying generations of pay-per-view. Roman lost. The unthinkable happened. The title slipped from his hands. The crowd was stunned. Some cheered. Some were silent. Backstage, Roman sat alone, staring at the floor. The tribal chief had fallen. Ronda found him there. She didn't give a speech. She didn't offer motivation. She just sat beside him. "You don't need the title to be who you are," she said softly. Roman's voice cracked. "I don't know who I am without it." Ronda looked him in the eye. "Then maybe this is where you find out." Redefining strength. Roman stepped away for a while. No cameras. No promos. Just time. Ronda did the same. When they returned months later, something was different. Roman no longer carried himself like a king defending a throne, but like a warrior who had survived the war. His matches were slower, smarter, more meaningful. Ronda returned calmer. Focused. Not fighting to prove herself, but fighting because she loved it again. At WrestleMania, they stood side by side on the stage, not as champions, not as invincible icons, but as survivors. The crowd cheered louder than ever. Not because they were perfect, but after the applause. The cheers faded. WrestleMania was over, and the stadium slowly emptied, but Roman Reigns remained seated on the steel steps near the entrance ramp. The lights above dimmed one by one, like stars going out. For the first time in years, he didn't feel the urge to chase them. Ronda Rousey stood beside him, arms folded, watching the crew dismantle the ring. "Funny," she said quietly, "how loud the world is when you're winning, and how quiet it gets when it's done." Roman nodded. "That silence used to scare me." "Used to?" "It still does," he admitted. "I've just stopped running from it." The comeback that wasn't about gold. In the weeks that followed, rumors exploded online. Is Roman chasing the title again? Is Ronda done for good? Are they losing their edge? Neither responded. Instead, Roman began showing up at training sessions earlier than anyone else, not to dominate, but to teach. Younger wrestlers watched in disbelief as the former tribal chief corrected footwork, adjusted grips, shared mistakes he never used to admit. Ronda did the same. She stayed late, helping rookies with confidence more than technique. One night, after everyone had left, Roman asked her, "Do you ever miss being feared?" Ronda thought for a moment. "I miss being understood more." Old wounds reopen. Then came the call. A major match offer. Big money. Big spotlight. For Roman, it meant facing the man who took his title. For Ronda, it meant stepping back into an arena that once turned on her. The doubt returned instantly. Roman stared at his phone for hours. Ronda didn't sleep that night. "What if I lose again?" Roman asked her during a quiet drive. Ronda answered honestly. "Then you lose. And you still wake up the next day." He exhaled slowly. "That used to feel like failure." She looked at him. "Now it feels like freedom." The night everything changed. The night of the event arrived. Roman walked to the ring without the old arrogance. No chest pounding. No demand for acknowledgement. Just focus. Ronda stood backstage, watching the monitor, heart racing, not for the crowd, but for him. The match was brutal. Every slam echoed with years of pressure. Roman fought, not to prove dominance, but to honor himself. And when the match ended, Roman lost again. Silence. No boos. No cheers. Just stunned respect. Backstage, Roman sat down, breathing heavily. He didn't punch walls. He didn't look angry. Ronda approached. "Well?" she asked gently. He smiled. "Small, but real. I gave everything. And it didn't take anything from me this time." Ronda's eyes filled with tears. "Then you already won." Ronda's turn. Weeks later, it was Ronda's moment. The same arena. The same crowd. She stood at the curtain, hands shaking. "What if they hate me again?" she whispered. Roman stepped beside her. "Then let them. You're not here for them anymore." She walked out. Some cheers. Some boos. She fought through it all, every strike, every fall, every memory. And when the match ended, Ronda stood tall, not as the baddest woman on the planet, but as the strongest version of herself. Backstage, Roman was the first to greet her. "You faced them," he said, "this over ego." Part 3, Beyond the Ring. Time moved differently now. For Roman Reigns, days were no longer counted by title reigns or main events, but by moments, quiet mornings at the performance center, the sound of ropes creaking, the nervous energy of young wrestlers chasing dreams he once carried alone. He watched them train and saw himself in every mistake. Ronda Rousey stood nearby, arms crossed, offering calm advice, reminding them to breathe, to believe. Where she once fought the world, she now stood with it. "You ever think about what happens when this ends?" Ronda asked one afternoon. Roman didn't answer right away. Roman hesitated. "What if they expect the old me?" he asked. Ronda smiled softly. Then we show them the real you. The night they stood together. The arena felt different that night. When Roman's music hit, there was no demand for acknowledgement, only respect. When Ronda walked out, the crowd rose to its feet. Not for dominance. For endurance. They fought side by side, not as conquerors, but as partners. Protecting each other. Trusting each other. Smiling through the pain. And when the match ended, hands raised together, the crowd roared. Roman felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. The choice. Backstage, Roman sat quietly, staring at his gloves. I don't think I need another title run, he said. Ronda looked at him, surprised, but not shocked. I think I want to leave something better behind, he continued. Not a throne. A path. Ronda nodded. That's how you know it's time to lead differently. What legacy really means. Months later, Roman officially stepped back from full-time competition. Not a goodbye, just a step aside. Ronda followed soon after, choosing her moments carefully, protecting her body, her mind, her future. They stood together at a small live event, watching new talent take the ring. You ever miss it? Ronda asked. Roman smiled. I miss who I was. But I respect who I've become. Ronda smiled back. Then we did it right. End of part 3. This isn't the end of their story. It's the beginning of the part that doesn't need an audience. Here is the next part, the final and most emotional chapter, bringing the story of Roman Reigns and Ronda Rousey to a powerful, meaningful close. Part 4, When Legends Let Go. The email sat unread for hours. WWE Hall of Fame invitation. Roman Reigns stared at the screen, his phone resting on the table like it weighed more than any championship belt he had ever carried. For years, this moment had felt inevitable. Now that it was here, it felt heavy. Across the room, Ronda Rousey noticed his silence. That bad? She asked. He turned the phone toward her. She smiled softly. That good? The question no one asks. Preparation for the ceremony brought memories flooding back, victories, losses, blood, cheers, and nights when sleep never came. One evening, while walking through an empty arena, Roman stopped at the ring. The canvas was fresh. Untouched. I gave this place everything, he said quietly. Sometimes I wonder if it gave me back enough. Ronda leaned on the barricade. It gave you the chance to become more than a character. Roman exhaled. I was afraid that without the ring, I'd disappear. Ronda looked straight at him. You didn't disappear. You evolved. Ronda's truth. Ronda received her own invitation days later. She didn't hesitate. I'm ready, she said. Roman looked surprised. No doubts? I already fought my biggest battle, she replied. Learning that I don't need approval to matter. She paused, then added. That was harder than any fight. Hall of Fame night. The night arrived. Spotlights. Applause. Standing ovations. Roman walked onto the stage slower than he once did, not because he was weak, but because he was present. Every step mattered. When he spoke, his voice didn't shake. I was called the tribal chief, he said. But leadership isn't about being acknowledged. It's about carrying others when they can't carry themselves. The crowd listened in silence. Ronda followed. They called me the baddest woman on the planet, she said. But strength isn't about destroying everyone in front of you. It's about surviving what's inside you. There were tears. From the crowd. From them. The last walk. After the ceremony, long after the building emptied, Roman and Ronda walked down the ramp one final time. No music. No cameras. Just echoes. Roman stepped into the ring and looked around. This place made me, he said. But it doesn't own me anymore. Ronda joined him. And it never did. They placed their gloves in the center of the ring. Not as a goodbye. As a thank you. What came after? Life moved on. Roman focused on mentoring, family, and health. He watched matches from the back, smiling instead of stressing. Ronda explored life beyond fighting, coaching, speaking, living without armor. Sometimes, they'd text during a big event. "You see that kid? Yeah. He reminds me of you. Hope he learns faster than I did." Final words. Years later, a young wrestler asked Roman, "What's the hardest part of being a legend?" Roman thought for a moment. Knowing when to stop chasing the past, and start honoring it. Not all legends end with fireworks. Some end with peace. And that, Roman Reigns and Ronda Rousey learned, was the greatest victory of all.
They see strength, not the pain.